Very good, very good. Well, thank you, Georgia, for reading so eloquently what I wrote myself. Oh my goodness, I don't like to, but hey, we'll let it go for now. I just had this quick bio for some other purposes, and when I was requested to send one, I just flipped that over. So I'm gonna put my timer on here because sometimes the professor gets the better of me in terms of timing when I start speaking. So I'm going to share my screen. If we could see that. Let's see. Can you see the screen, please? Okay, very good, very good. So I simply want to share some of the experiences which I have had with my participation with Rotary over the years. You know, Rotary has been a life changer for several people that I know. I'm sure you know that too. And I recently took a trip to Pakistan because I'm originally from Pakistan. I migrated to the US about 45, 50 years ago. But I still go back and still love that country, and because that's the country which really introduced me to Rotary. So I'll share some of the experiences with you, and be happy to answer any questions down the road. Okay, this is the forward. What's the forward? This is the forward. So just to orient myself and everybody, Pakistan is a country in Asia. It is surrounded by several neighbors, including China, a little bit of border with Tajikistan, then Afghanistan, Iran, and the Arabian Sea, and then India on the side. Pakistan has, let's see how many provinces: Balochistan, Sindh, Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and Gilgit and Baltistan, and the Kashmir area, which is attached on this side of the border. It's a very, very old country, as you know, and I'll show you a couple of slides of the old civilization of Pakistan. It's a country of about 220 plus million people, apparently fifth or sixth largest country in the world. So although the geographical area might be small, the population is really busting out of the seam, and that's something which I notice every time when I travel to Pakistan. Here's just some pictures, and they are, I hope I'll get exemption for copyright violation if I did, but because I downloaded some of these from Pakistan Embassy's website, so I hope they won't send me to jail for it. But anyways, I thought if it's on their website, it's good for the public to see. Here's the shot of, you know, I grew up in this city of Islamabad, which is the capital of Pakistan. Is the Parliament building where the National Assembly meets. Very historic city. Its roots go back all the way to 8,000 years or so, but the recent history was during Mughal Empire, when a lot of Mughal architecture was built. Here's a picture of a fort right in the city of Lahore, which was also the site of governance of Mughal Empire at one point. Lahore Fort, and in front where I have my cursor is the memorial building for Dr. Sir Muhammad Iqbal, who was the founder and the thinker of Pakistan. Here's the, you know, just like we have Washington Monument here in Washington, DC, this is Minar-e-Pakistan, the memorial of Pakistan. And this is where actually the resolution of creation of Pakistan was presented in Lahore. So in that memorial, this is the tower. Beautiful country, amazing terrain and geography, you know, all the way from the Himalayan mountains and the Khyber Pass and connecting east with the west. You see these trading routes, which are very, very old trading routes in century, which connect Pakistan strategically with a lot of countries in the world and open up it's also called the gateway for a lot of other countries and civilizations which have traveled through. Examples of some centuries old religious and cultural harmony. You know, I'm sure you all know about the Buddha civilization. It was actually, it started in Taxila, which is just about 20 miles from where I was during this trip. I was amazed to know that, in fact, world's oldest university, folks, was in Taxila, which is now in Pakistan. 600 BC, there were about 10,500 students from all over the world. Just like now we go to Harvard or Cornell or Yale or Oxford, people used to go to Taxila from all over the world to get education in so many different disciplines. So as I said, this is the oldest Indus Valley civilization, which is about 8,000 years old. And you see all these ruins. I've traveled through Taxila and I've seen all these. Look at the beautiful designed city picture at the bottom of your screen. Really amazing. So starting with Buddha civilization, you come into Hindu civilization, the Katas Raj temples. It's a series of temples, again, several hundred years old, I believe. But again, a place which is still revered and visited by a lot of people of Hindu faith in Pakistan, which really coexist as a great civilization. Islamic civilization, of course, because Pakistan is an Islamic country. Its name is Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Here's a beautiful mosque built by the Mughals during their rule. It's called Badshahi Mosque in Lahore, considered one of the world's largest mosques. And then, of course, a newer version of architect, which is the Faisal Mosque in Islamabad, which was built when Islamabad was made the capital of Pakistan. And of course, some of the holiest places of Sikhism or Sikh religion are also in Pakistan. You see Panja Sahib up on the left corner. You see Nangana Sahib on the right corner up there. And in the middle, Kartarpura, this is the newest temple or Gurdwara, which has been opened for tourists and visitors. They come from all over the world to Pakistan to recognize and celebrate their faith of Sikhism. And of course, Christianity has a very, very important presence in Pakistan. There's a picture of Sacred Heart Cathedral in Lahore, Punjab. There's also a school, Sacred Heart School. In fact, my wife is a graduate of Sacred Heart School in Lahore. So this tells you the sort of the blending of cultures and civilization and people of Pakistan, regardless of their faith, those who live in Pakistan. So my Rotary experience starts from 1979. I saw an ad in the local newspaper, which essentially said, hey, apply for a program called GSE, Group Study Exchange Program, that a team from Pakistan would go to America and reciprocity based, the team from the US would come to Pakistan. And I said, oh my God, who's going to select me? So I just threw my name in the pot, and guess what? After a series of interviews, I was selected to represent the province of Pakistan to be a member of Rotary Group Study Exchange Program. We were a team of 5 people, and we started from all the way from Pakistan. We went to Hong Kong, then we went to Japan, then we went to landed in San Francisco, and went all the way, traveled all the way to Oregon border at that time. And on the way, as you know, GSC, how it works, GSC was basically that you stay with the Rotarian families, you exchange your culture, your information, your values. I used to travel, hop from Rotary Club to Rotary Club, give talks about Pakistan, exchange banners, and folks, I tell you, that sold me on Rotary. And ever since then, I have been engaged in one way or another with the Rotary. As you say, Rotary changes life. Sure enough, in 1981, then when I permanently moved to the US, I applied for a position at Cornell, and it was a very competitive position. I said, I'm not going to get it. And guess what? A person offered me the position. And one day I asked him, Dr. Dieter, there were so many candidates. Why did you pick me up? He said, well, academically and your research skill set, et cetera, I had no problem with you or others. But the reason I offered you the position was that on your resume, you said you were a member of GSE Rotary International. And, my dad was in the Rotary. So I said, if you were in the Rotary or associated with the Rotary, you would be a good man. So folks, I wrote my ticket on the shoulders of Rotary, and thanks Rotary every day of my life, because Cornell was where I started my higher education when I came to America and ended up getting my PhD in immunogenetics, and then move on. Rest is history that I became the highest civil service position holder in the US as a senior executive. So starting with $35 in my pocket when I landed here and becoming the US Federal Executive Service senior executive, the skill set and the confidence which Rotary builds in you really takes you places, and I honestly believe in that. In my recent trip to Rotary, I went to Rotary Club of Islamabad, which is called the Rotary Metropolitan Club of Islamabad, Pakistan. I just invited myself, folks, and that's what we do, Rotarians. Wherever we go, there is a Rotary Club, and there are numerous Rotary Clubs in Pakistan. And don't be embarrassed if you travel overseas. Look up in the Rotary International Club directory and find out what is a Rotary Club, and just walk in there. They have the meeting schedules and et cetera, which can suit your travel needs and what have you. So I walked into this club, and by golly, they welcomed me with open hands. Here's my wife standing next to Rotary Club of Islamabad banner. There's a Rolls Royce right in the middle, which was in the lobby of the Marriott in Islamabad. That's where Rotary meets every Tuesday, I believe. There's some shots of the meeting, Metropolitan Rotary Club Islamabad. We're sitting around the table with guests. Here, I took my banner, my Rotary Club, I'm a member of Vestrale Rotary Club. So I took my banner and gave it to the lady in the middle who's shaking my hands and receiving the banner from me. Her name is Farhanda J.S. Andrabi. She's the president 2021-2022 of Rotary Club of Islamabad. And then, of course, they gave me their banner as well, which I brought with me. And yesterday, I gave it to my Vestrale Rotary Club in our Rotary Club banner collection. And you see all these members of Rotary Club of Islamabad sitting. This fellow with a suit and tie in the left is, in my opinion, probably the older founding member of this club. His name is Mia Shaukat Masood. He's a businessman and has traveled around the world and gave a very passionate talk about what Rotary means to Pakistan. And I was really moved. And you see, like in my Rotary Club, age is no limit. I really enjoyed talking to this gentleman on the right. He was walking with a walking stick, but told me that how, in fact, he's leading a girls' education program in Pakistan. And I'll show you a couple of pictures there later on. The lady in the middle came up to me and said, "Hey, I also have a poultry science background from America." So I was pleased to meet her. Again, some shots of us sitting around the table and chit-chatting. And you see, when you walk in, there is a sign up register, Rotary Club of Islamabad Metropolitan, and I signed up as visiting Rotarian there as people were coming in. So it was really nice that they document everything. So some of the initiatives which Rotary Club of Pakistan has, of course, the biggest initiative there is polio eradication. As you know, folks, Pakistan is still one of the very few countries left around the globe which still has some remnants of polio outbreaks, but it's being controlled with Gates Foundation and Rotary International's help. It's an effort which is really enormously amazing effort and much appreciated by the government of Pakistan. Other programs which Rotary has on the ground are rural empowerment, especially women empowerment, drinking water project across the country, places where the drinking water is hard to get. They dig wells, they go in, they put 2 wells in. It's a great resource for drinking water and public health. There were a lot of ventilators being donated by Rotary to intensive care units during this COVID, which I know our club also donated a lot of ventilators from Vestrale to a club in Karachi, Pakistan, but that need is not there anymore, but they really recognized and appreciated that very much. And the most important aspect which Rotary International is engaged in Pakistan is really girls' education. You know, millions of girls are still denied of education in Pakistan, although it's not a problem in the city area or, but in rural area or in outlying, communities, hard to reach communities, education for girls is really very, very difficult. People want girls to work around the house or do chores and stuff and not worry about the education. So Rotary International there is really very engaged in girls' education and empowering girls and youth. And of course, who doesn't know Malala on the right hand of the picture, a Nobel Prize winner for her struggle to ensure that women in Pakistan, especially girls in Pakistan, have all the opportunities to educate themselves and excel in their way of life and quality of life, and be productive citizens of Pakistan. One last visit I made was a new veterinary university or college, which was established in Lahore, Pakistan. And again, I gave a talk about Rotary there as well, and how important Rotary is for establishing animal shelters. Rotary actually has a couple of animal shelters, or sponsors some animal shelters, and I didn't have time to go and visit those, but I was informed that Rotary is involved. Here's the CEO right in the middle on my left, who received me with the faculty there. Group picture with the faculty of that university. Fantastic faculty. I mean, this top notch. I mean, I saw CT scan and all those kind of sophisticated veterinary equipment, which I used to see in my clinical hospital at Cornell when I was there. Here's a female professor in white coat. Believe me or not, she's a professor of animal reproduction. Can you believe it? Women actually working with cows and helping them deliver, calving and doing C-sections and imparting reproductive education or animal reproduction and physiology training to veterinary students. Amazing site. It was not there when I was a student in Pakistan years ago, but now there's a really excellent engagement of women in every aspect of society. Here they produce their own animal feed. I'm being shown some of the animal feed which students prepare and then sell that in the market and actually make money to support their education. So I'm going to stop here. Thank you for your time. It is an honor and pleasure to be associated with the Rotary Club, this Rotary Club, and thank you for inviting me to share some of my experiences with you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.